Hi students, this is the revision video for the abdomen. First we are going to see the stomach. This can be asked as an essay or the stomach lymphatic drainage can be asked as a short note. So we'll see as a complete essay. So for the essay, the mark distribution will be like this: parts and the relations and peritoneal relations, and then arterial supply, venous drainage. It includes blood supply. Okay, blood supply includes arterial supply and venous drainage, and lymphatic drainage, nerve supply, and the most important clinical application. Like this only the mark distribution. So for example, 2 marks will be given for the parts, and the relations, peritoneal relations and the other relations you will be giving 3.5 to 4 marks, and the blood supply 2.5 to 3 marks, and lymphatic drainage carries most of the marks, 3 marks, and nerve supply 1 mark, and the rest clinical anatomy 2.5 to 3 marks. This is how the mark distribution goes on, right? It depends upon the examiner. And the next thing is, for example, we'll start with the parts of the stomach. So for this you need to know how to draw. So how to draw the stomach? So first the student should draw like this. Okay, and this is on the left side, this is the cardiac end, and here you have to draw the pyloric end. So the student should know where is the cardiac end. It is lying near the costal cartilage on the left side, 7th costal cartilage on the left side, and here is the pyloric. So pyloric end is here. So this is the cardiac end and this is the pyloric end, and cardiac end lies at 7th costal cartilage and the pyloric end lies at the level of TL1, okay, T11 or L1. So transpyloric plane goes along which vertebra, L1, okay, or T11, okay, right? Then you have to draw the greater curvature of the stomach and then draw the lesser curvature of the stomach. Like that you have to draw the stomach. And the next thing is parts of the stomach. So 2 ends we have written and 2 curvatures, lesser curvature and the greater curvature we will be writing. And this where it takes acute angulation, this area is called incisura angularis. The next one is, here you have a momentum called as, this is a peritoneal fold, lesser momentum. Here you have a momentum called as greater momentum. This all carries marks. And then now you have to write about the parts. This bulge is called as fundus of the stomach. This is called body of the stomach. This entire area is called pylorus, pyloric antrum, pyloric canal, and the sphincter. The narrowest part is called as pyloric sphincter. And why this area is called as pyloric sphincter in Viva also we will be asking, because when you see the stomach pyloric end will be identified as sphincter like this. It is closed. Why there is star shaped sphincter? Because you have lot of circular muscles in that area. Stomach contains all kind of muscles. So here you have a circular muscle that forms a constriction, that is called as pyloric sphincter. Near the pyloric sphincter only you have a nice vein called pre-pyloric vein of Mayo. So pre-pyloric vein of Mayo will be asked in the questions papers like NEET and other exams. Pre-pyloric vein of Mayo. How the pyloric sphincter is asked in surgery, they will be asking this question. In pediatric surgery they will be finding out the place where the pyloric sphincter is by the help of pre-pyloric vein of Mayo. This pre-pyloric vein of Mayo drains into right gastric vein, right? So this is the MCQ, pre-pyloric vein of Mayo. And why there is a sphincter? Circular muscles. If the circular muscle gets hypertrophied, it is called congenital pyloric stenosis. Then parts we have written, so you have got already 2 marks. And then next thing is you have to write about the relations. So relations, what are the relations you will write? For that you need to concentrate this picture. So look at this. This is the stomach, and here is the lesser momentum, and here is the greater momentum, and this is the cardiac end where the gastroesophageal junction is here, and then here is the pyloric end where it pierces the diaphragm, okay, in this area. And then next is when you lift the stomach. So stomach anterior relations, what are the anterior relations you will write? This side you have your liver, and then this side you will be having, wait, we'll see. Okay, so can you see the tinge? So this is the where the pylorus continues as duodenum. That's why here you have the bile stain because of the gallbladder is here. So you can see the first part of the duodenum here. And then next one, look at the liver. Now you have lifted the stomach. So what are the structures you could see beneath the stomach? Beneath the stomach means stomach bed structures. This carries 2 marks, more than 2 marks. So what are the stomach bed structures? Shall we start? So number 1 is pancreas. Number 2, over the pancreas, nicely on the superior border of the pancreas, MCQ, superior border of the pancreas, you have the splenic artery 2. And number 3 is, here you have a colon, that is your transverse colon will be coming on this side. Next picture you can see nicely. Can you see this transverse colon? Transverse colon will be coming. Transverse mesocolon will be here. So pancreas, splenic artery, transverse mesocolon. If the transverse mesocolon comes to that end, you will be having the spleen in this end of the pancreas. You have the spleen. Look at this. This is the tail of the pancreas, you have the spleen. So splenic flexure of the colon will be here. So transverse mesocolon, splenic flexure of the colon, and beneath the spleen you have the kidney. Above the kidney you have the suprarenal. Beneath that you have the diaphragm. Okay, so these are the structures beneath the stomach bed. Don't write the spleen because spleen will be developed in different areas. So don't write the spleen. So start right again. Pancreas, splenic artery, transverse mesocolon, splenic flexure of the colon, and then kidney. Which kidney? Left kidney, left suprarenal, and the diaphragm. So these are the stomach bed structures. Anteriorly you have the liver, and next stomach bed is posterior. Anteriorly you have the liver, and the next thing is relations you have written. Peritoneal relation means your momentum only, lesser momentum and greater momentum. And the next one is your the most important ligament, that is your gastrosplenic ligament. Can you see this gastrosplenic ligament? From the stomach, the ligament is attached to the spleen. Can you see the spleen nicely here? So this is the gastrosplenic ligament. Can you tell me the structures present in the gastrosplenic ligament? Yeah, that is your short gastric artery and left gastroepiploic artery, because students should keep it in mind, don't mug up anything. So this is the stomach, this is the greater curvature. So obviously in the greater curvature you have gastroepiploic arteries. Since it is on the left side, you have definitely left gastroepiploic is coming here. So obviously gastrosplenic ligament contains left gastroepiploic artery, and then this is the fundus of the stomach. Only the fundus of the stomach you have a different blood supply, that is your short gastric arteries. These arteries are coming from the splenic artery. So your left gastroepiploic is also coming from splenic artery, and your short gastric arteries are also coming from splenic artery. So the content of gastrosplenic ligament is the structures should come from the spleen to the stomach. So from the spleen to the stomach, who will be coming? Short gastric arteries and left gastroepiploic. These two are MCQs. Okay, so contents. So we have written that. So over, and then peritoneal relations over. So lesser momentum, greater momentum, and gastrosplenic ligament you have to write. Very good. Finished. And the next one is arterial supply. As I told earlier, lesser curvature. Lesser means it is small. So only gastric arteries will be coming here. So right gastric artery and the left gastric artery, they form an anastomosis along the lesser curvature. The greater curvature means big lengthy names, that is your gastroepiploic arteries. So right gastroepiploic and left gastroepiploic will be having their anastomosis here. And the most important area is fundus of the stomach. Usually they keep spotters in the fundus of the stomach, and they will ask the blood supply. Arterial supply over the fundus is short gastric artery. So these are the blood supply, arterial supply. Here I have written nicely. So the artery supply and venous drainage. Venous drainage, all these corresponding veins, the same epiploic veins and the gastric veins, they drain into the portal vein. Understood? And the portal vein, the fate of portal vein is, portal vein, it divides into right and left portal vein and then enter into the sinusoids inside the liver, and from there hepatic veins will be formed. They will be entering into the inferior vena cava. So this is about the venous drainage. And lymphatic drainage is very interesting. For that I said it carries more marks, because here it is, this area, the lymph nodes are called as pyloric nodes because it is near the pylorus, and here it is called as spleen is there on this side. So this is called pancreatico-splenic nodes. Splenic nodes are here, and this side your liver is here. So this is called hepatic nodes, right? So this is splenic nodes, and this is the pyloric nodes, this is the hepatic nodes. So all this, so you have to divide it into quadrants. and this left side will be going to the splenic nodes, and the down part will be coming down to the pyloric nodes, and this way it is entering into the hepatic nodes. So everything is going here, but all these lymphatic drainage, this is only important, all these nodes they enter into something called as cisterna chyli. Cisterna chyli, this is the lymphatic trunk of the abdomen. So it enters into the cisterna chyli. From the cisterna chyli it enters into the diaphragm, it pierces the diaphragm and then enters coming into the thorax as thoracic duct. Okay, cisterna chyli continues into the thorax as thoracic duct. This thoracic duct, it crosses at the level of T5 vertebra and enters in and drains the junction between the internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein. This junction between these two veins, it drains. That's why it goes to the, it comes from the right side, it crosses and it goes it comes from the left side and goes to the right side and goes to the left side and drains into this area. See, here you have your clavicle. That's why, look at this picture. So these are the relations, and look at this picture. Okay, can you see there is some enlargement? Can you tell me what is this enlargement? What could be this node? This is clavicle. So above the clavicle, what is this node? Supraclavicular node. Yes. So the supraclavicular node, how it is? Because here only you have the internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein. In between this junction only your thoracic duct drains. So if there is any cancer in the stomach, from the nodes, lymphatic drainage, it enters into the cisterna chyli. From the cisterna chyli, it enters into the thoracic duct. From the thoracic duct, it enters and drains into this area. That's why the supraclavicular, left supraclavicular alone is enlarged. So if there is any gastric tumor, this left supraclavicular node will be enlarged. This is called as Trocheus sign and Virchow's node, this node, right? So that's all about the, these are the structures, kidney, suprarenal, stomach bed structures I have enumerated, and then here we have seen the gastrosplenic ligament. Now it's time for you to write the applied. So gastric ulcer, so and nerve supply I forgot to tell, I will tell you here. Gastric ulcer, if there is any ulceration, it may perforate. If it perforates along the posterior wall, the stomach material will be getting spilled into the retroperitoneal space. It means behind the stomach. So behind the stomach, who is there? Pancreas is there. So it goes and affects the pancreas. It may lead to pseudopancreatic cyst. That and all you will be reading in surgery. And vagotomy, nerve supply is vagus nerve. You have the anterior, so vagus nerve, when you write, you have the anterior vagal trunk in the front and posterior vagal trunk at the back. So the anterior vagal trunk we'll draw here. Anterior vagal trunk, it comes here and it gives one branch to the liver, that is called hepatic branch, and then it supplies the stomach. So these are the branches, main branches to the body, and then it gives one branch to the pyloric end. So 3 branches are there for the stomach. Okay, this pyloric branch is called nerve of Lataget. And then posterior vagal trunk, at least the students should write anterior vagal trunk and a posterior vagal trunk. Posterior vagal trunk should not supply the hepatic. This is hepatic, this is for the main body, and then here is a pyloric. But posterior vagal trunk, it goes and supplies the celiac plexus. Okay, and then as usual it comes and supplies the stomach. So these two are the main important difference between the anterior vagal trunk and the posterior vagal trunk. So vagotomy means dissecting the vagus. If you cut the vagus in this area, it may lead to hepatic failure, so that secretions won't be entering into the stomach. So hepatic failure, and this area, the stasis of the food will be there, and the pylorus also, the glands will not secrete in this area, and the food will not be passing through the pyloric. So many problems will be there. So truncal vagotomy you should avoid. And then this is called selective vagotomy, and only this portion will be cut except the hepatic part. So this is selective vagotomy. And highly selective vagotomy means only the gastric gland secretion alone will be cut. So only these fibers will be cut. So for gastric ulcer patient, you should do only the highly selective vagotomy. Only these fibers will be cut. These fibers means only they supply the gastric glands, which reduces the secretion of HCl. So it will be good for the patient. And the next is gastric cancer.